We're going to look at three Windows Forms concepts in this video. The first is Subforms, the second is the ComboBox control that we haven't looked at yet, and finally the FormLoad event. So first of all, with Subforms, everything we've created up to date has just resulted in a single form being loaded and no secondary forms or subforms. Most applications that you use probably consist of multiple forms. Even Visual Studio has multiple forms. If we go to Tools, Options, this is another window or a subform of Visual Studio. And when we create Windows Forms applications in Visual Studio and C#, we too can have subforms. So that's the first thing we're going to do. I created a button down here to open up a subform. But before we do anything with the click event of this button, we're going to create our subform first. To create a subform is a lot like creating a user-defined class. If we right-click on our project and go to Add, you'll see an option for Windows Form. And when we click on that, we want to make sure we retain the .cs extension and give our form a name. In Pascal case, I'm going to call this Purple Subform because I'm going to make it purple. And ensure Windows Form is selected, click on Add, and you'll see it in the Solution Explorer, and here is my new subform. My new subform is going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to change its background color property to a purple like I promised. Look at that. And then add a single button to my subform that closes the subform. And so let's change the text property of our button to and we'll give this button a name. Alright, that's looking good. And before I code the method for the click event of this button, I'm first going to code the method for the click event of the Open a Subform button. And so if I double click on this, this will open up my code window. I'll zoom in there. And so this method right here is going to fire every time that this button is clicked. And so what do I want to happen when this button is clicked? I need to create a new instance of my form object. And this works a lot like creating an object from a user-defined class. We start with the name of the class, which is Purple Subform, and then you can give your subform a unique identifier. I'll call mine my subform, and this word could be anything, whereas this word has to match the name of your subform class. And then the equal sign, the new keyword, and then the constructor method for my Purple Subform, which is going to be the same name as the class, followed by a set of opening and closing parentheses because this is a method. This is the constructor method, and a semicolon to end that line of code. So right now, if I click the button, we still wouldn't see anything appear because all we've done is create an object. We haven't done anything with this object. So let's do something with that object. Let's show that subform object. So this method right here, this show method, is actually going to display our purple subform. And now let's go to our purple subform and associate a method with the click event of this button. And so to close a subform, there are two ways of doing it: hiding and closing. If we hide a subform, that means that the form is going to stay in memory. Whereas if we close a subform, we will not see it anymore and it will be taken out of memory. And that's the common way of closing a subform. You might want to hide a subform if the user is going to be using it later, or if you want to save the state of the subform, what buttons are clicked, what text is clicked or is typed into, what text boxes, and so on. But we'll do this the simple way, and we can do this with the keyword this.close. And the keyword this refers to the current instance of the class. So we don't want to close this entire class. We want to close the object, and so the object is going to be this my subform. So this my subform is going to be what gets closed in this line of code because we use this this keyword here. Okay, so now let's run this and see if our form is working correctly. Open a subform. Sorry, it's opening up on the other window, but there it is. And now if I close that, open it again, there it is, close it, that's working fine. Okay, so that is subforms and how we work with them. And now let's go back to our combo demo form, and let's talk about our next topic, which is the ComboBox control. I'm going to drag one in here, and many of you have probably seen a ComboBox. If you've ever ordered anything online and you're asked to enter in your address, when you're asked to enter in your state, you're probably going to see one of these things. You click on this, it starts with Alabama and Alaska, all the way down to Wyoming and maybe some after that. So that's what these controls do and how they look like. And there's a few properties we want to change now that we've added in our new ComboBox. First is the name of our ComboBox. I'm going to call this Colors ComboBox. And next is the Items property. Now with the ComboBox, we could add items to this ComboBox in the code when we run our program, or we can preload the ComboBox using this items property. This will open up another window, a subform if you will, where I can enter in the items that I want in my ComboBox. So let's do the first three colors of the rainbow, each in their own separate line. Click OK. And now if I run this, we can see that our ComboBox has those three items, and I can select one of these in the same way I could select a state if I was ordering something. Now the way that this ComboBox is set up by default is that I could type something in here. And in this example, I don't want the user to be able to type into the ComboBox. I want them to only be able to choose from one of the three options that I've given them. And so we can change a property very easily in our ComboBox, and that is the drop-down style. If we change the drop-down style to drop-down list, notice when I click this, my ComboBox will turn gray, and when I run this, I cannot any longer type into this ComboBox. I have to choose one of those options. So it's kind of like setting a ComboBox to read only, where you can't change, you can't add things to it. Alright, so we've created a ComboBox, and now we want to do something with this in the code. So when this button is clicked, I want the user to be shown a message box that says red or orange or yellow. And so let's associate a method with the click event of this button. And there are two ways to refer to the items in a ComboBox. The first is by index, and the second is by item. If we refer to items by index, that's going to be their numeric order, and we count them the same way we count items in an array. We start with 0. So red, orange, and yellow, we don't count them as item 1, item 2, and item 3. We count them as item 0, item 1, and item 2. So first let's display the index of the selected item of the ComboBox in a message box to the user. So in here I want to display the ComboBox, or I'm sorry, the name of my ComboBox, which is Colors ComboBox, and I'm interested in the selected index. And the selected index is a integer, and our message box cannot display an integer, so I'm going to convert that to a string so that my message box can display it. So now when I run this and I choose one of these three options, let's start with orange. That is the index item location 1. Even though it's the second item in the list, we're counting 0, 1, 2. So if I pick red, I'll see 0, and if I pick yellow, I'll see 2. So that's okay, but what I really want to see is the actual color. And so that's a easy change. If we change selected index to selected item is going to be the actual text of the item that's selected. And so now when we run this, instead of seeing 0, 1, and 2, we will see red, orange, and yellow. Okay, so that's the selected item as opposed to the selected index. And frequently you'll see these combo boxes used with if statements. So let's comment this out for now, and let's do an if statement here. And so I want the user to be shown a message box if they have selected yellow in that combo box. And so that's easy. We just need to look at the selected index, and if that selected index is equal to 2, then they have selected the yellow one, and so then let's display a message box to the user. They were all yellow. So now I'm only going to see a message box if yellow is selected. If I pick red, that button's doing nothing. If I pick orange, that's doing nothing. But if I hit yellow, now my selected index is in fact equal to 2, and I will see that message box. Final thing I want to demonstrate in this video is the FormLoad event. Let's close my purple subform. Don't need that. And so the FormLoad event is going to fire every time the form is loaded, and it's a good way to set defaults on a form, because right now when I open up this form, I have option 1 selected and I have no color selected. But what I want to happen when this form loads, I want option 2 to be selected by default, and I want yellow to be selected by default. And I can do that in the method for the FormLoad event. And I can access that either by clicking on the form and going to my events, and here in the load event double clicking, or just double clicking on any blank area on my form. And I tell students they might have done one of these by accident. Maybe they thought they were double clicking on a button and they actually double clicked on the form. So this is going to create a new method based on the FormLoad event. And so inside of here I can set those defaults. Like I want to make the option 2 radio button checked. And the other default I want is I want my colors combo box selected index property to be defaulted to 2. So a couple of form defaults here, and when I run this, now my second group box or radio button is selected and yellow is selected by default.